tell your man behind the bar, if he serves me another watered-down drink, we're going to have problems. And he just slides the drink back over to you and lets you go.
Okay, we'll stare at him and pick up the tankard and just kind of right away and just kind of like just like I think he's just gonna move along the wall because I don't think he wants to like show his face out back back there where like everyone's making a lot of action. So he's just like, okay, do. I'm just gonna move my fruity ass this way.
So you just gotta slink away. Ugh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not having a good time.
All right, so you head back over to the bar there, and the bartender kind of sees you bringing back that drink and is giving you like a look like, oh, come on, man, like what are you doing?
He is our friend over there, and Kay will kind of like motion with a like very subtle like jerk of his head. Is very displeased about being served another watered down drink and says there's going to be problems if I do not amend it.
Problems. The only problem is having his kind in this bar in the first place. It's den gypsies. And he turns around and he just pours out like a little bit of the tankard, and he takes that same ladle and he actually scoops like ale and like puts it in there. So you're like, okay, we didn't do a great job of like redoing this drink here, but it's certainly going to be better than it was. And he kind of sets it down.
Yeah, Kate was going to pick it back up and just kind of like eye him for using such a word, a slur in this place. And Kay just kind of just like, I don't tolerate racism. And I think there's a very brief moment where Kay is just like, I can just dump this over his head and walk out, right? I can just do that. But then he's like, no.
Kay's just like, bro, it's 7:23. That's not how we do things anymore.
Yeah, it's not. It's 7:23. It's not how we fucking do things here at all. Yeah. Kay will just like take it and just kind of like again staring at it, will just like he will walk by the hog table in Rinverhi just like very briskly like nope.
Rinverhi's watching.
Yeah.
I think he's mostly just been looking around, like watching everything going on, and is now watching Kay with this stranger.
Rinverhi, you definitely take notice of the fact that she just brought this guy 2 drinks in the span of like a minute.
Yeah.
Might want to slow down, old man.
And you kind of glance over and that dude's like eating, and he just like, he has his spoon. Let me see if I can do it on camera. He has his spoon where his head's down. He's like, and he just keeps eating. You know? He has that pause.
Am I about to beat this boy? Okay, now I'm gonna eat.
Well, I gotta get my grub in me.
How cold do I want the soup to be? You know?
Yeah. Kay will come back over and again set it down and just hopefully this is more to your liking.
All right. So with his opposite hand, he kind of slides his hand out and but still over the table, and he picks his fingertips up, and there is a silver piece there for you.
Oh. Kay's eyes, I think, sparkle for a minute, like, wow, I just got tipped. And he will pick it up and just, thank you kindly. And will, twirls hair, pockets it, and unless he makes a motion or asks for anything else, Kay will leave him be.
All right. Yeah, he just kind of goes back to his soup. Like, again, he's not really paying anybody no mind.
Yeah, he definitely like watches him like eat his soup and he's just like, okay, and just like, wee.
Does this man stand out from everybody else in the bar? Like, does he seem like an unusual presence?
Yeah, for one, like he has that very like dark, like kind of way about him, like that dark loner kind of thing going on.
Yeah, it looks great.
Mash. Yeah, it's so tasty.
So yeah, and he's definitely the only person that has that like kind of colored skin. And again, you three definitely being fetchlings all have sort of a bit of a weird hue to yourselves as well. But he's different in the terms that like he doesn't have the absence of like a color. He has the presence of like a blue. Like there's a blue added to his skin.
Yeah. Saturated, unlike us.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I think Kay's skin. Sorry, off topic very briefly. Kay's skin tone is like it looks human, like just like really pale, but like when you get closer, it's just like, oh, this is not regular pale. This is weird pale.
Yeah, like dead pale.
Dead pale. Dead pale. That's a good way to. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Okay. Charles, as you were.
No problem. So, Bran, you are going to continue making your way to the other room there?
Trying my best. Just
Oh, boy,
trying
are you.
to politely, like, shoulder through.
All right. You have no problem at this point kind of disengaging from the hog people who now seem extremely hyper-focused on the Ifrits to the point where they're kind of like catcalling them, like, but in a sarcastic way. You know, like they're like, oh, look at pretty boy with his fire hair. Yeah, must get all the ladies. You know.
Thank God I can slip through, but also just like Bran just like looks back a little like, dude.
Yeah, Kay is ready to like trash half of the people in this fucking bar.
Well, you can see the Ifrits, Bran, as you kind of look over to watch the hogs, and they're 100% like.
A moment to spare.
Yeah, they're just totally beefing it up. Like these are so like the most bizarre people you've ever seen, you know. And the one oddity of the group is the woman that's with them, who seems so much more composed, almost like they're like the only brain in the pack, you know. And you go ahead and roll a perception check. Actually, let's have you double check what you notice about this strange Ifrit woman.
He closed my pizza box for a hot moment. That's why. Perception. Yeah. Brian just like quietly thinking, God, she's so cool. 38.
38. Wowzers.
Dang.
All right, I'm being weird for a second. I'm sorry. I gotta scratch my ear here.
Okay, scratch your ear. You work so hard. Scratch your ear.
Yeah.
Scratch your ear. You work so hard.
So you look over and you're watching the woman, and you get this faint sense of like how she's kind of looking around with people, and she's like, "Oh yeah, look at what he's doing. That's cool. Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool." And as you're kind of watching with that high perception there, you're like, dude, she's faking. She doesn't know what those people are doing. She doesn't fit in with them. Like she's basically patronizing the people that she's with. But you're like, she came in with such bravado that just seems so bizarre that she all of a sudden seems like she doesn't fit in somehow.
Just want to like sit and like instigate, but also it's just like, oh right, I had a job to do. I need to do that real quick.
Instigate.
I like the heart being drawn around Bran. Very cool.
Yeah, I love him.
So cheap, so beloved. So can I just scoot on by?
Yes, yeah, you should be able to get past the hog people. You can get back in that back room if you'd like.
I'm free.
All right. So as soon as you get inside this area here, you realize there are another group of these chefs and all who are kind of back here working along, noodling away at different sauces and big cauldrons and stuff, you know, some different soups and things like that. And there are two of them kind of feverishly working over near this one cauldron, and it looks like they're kind of like mixing a giant batter for something that they're doing inside this big cauldron. You know?
Oh my God.
Fascinating. Soup, meat, too much vegetable?
Oh, and they look over and they're like, meat? With pancakes? I guess we can put meat in there. What kind of meat?
For the soup, pancakes?
Oh, soup. No, we have to make pancakes. Did you see how many hogmen want the pancakes? And they're just like, when they got their fists back in this thing and they're kneading it up, and they just stop paying you any mind at all.
Oh, I wish you the best of luck. They are rowdy.
Now, as you're kind of watching them, you're a little bit entranced by this cool little, dough batter kneading. It's not really a dough, it's like a batter, but they're just trying to get it all incorporated, get it all mixed together. But they're kind of just using their hands to do it. And you're kind of fixated on it for a second, and you look down and you're like, dude, that is a kick-ass looking cauldron. I super like that. I love this cauldron. So you're a little bit fixated on it for a second, but the feeling kind of passes, where you're just like, "What the hell do I need a cauldron for? I just camp in the woods, you know."
Yeah. I probably have a home I go to that has some sort of stove or such. Why do I need a cauldron? That's silly.
The third chef, who's kind of standing near you, is just like, "Oh, did you bring more deer, Bran?" Yes. Well, I'm making a soup, a broth over here. I was going to make it with parsnips and onions, but venison stock would be even better. Bring me its bones.
Like nods. Oh, that was delicious.
I know. He's like, does anybody actually work here? It's just me running around?
I'm busy with pancakes, dude. There's always a time and place for soup, though.
There's always a time and a place for soup. And also pancakes.
And also yeah, Bran's gonna, like, turn around and, like, go get the bones. But, like, we'll make a note of, like, I don't want to be around the hog people again. We are making a wide turn.
All right. So let's imagine you head kind of north, and you're going towards the top of the map up this way.
Yeah.
And as you pass by that area, you realize there are more hogmen over there.
Devastating.
And as you kind of start getting, I'm just going to go ahead and move you. As you kind of start getting over into this area here, you realize the people from this table behind you are kind of like, they're getting really amped up about something that the Ifrits are doing, you know? And Nyx, you're kind of sitting in the group of them there, and you're a little bit glazed over, kind of thinking, you're like fixated on this weird, like, miner guy. You're like, how the hell do I know him? And you start to get the sense that, like, oh shit, something's up. Like, you just realize your boys and the hog people are, like, getting flared up, and they're, like, moving into the center of the room. So the hog people start working their way around the tables, and they're kind of moving over here towards the center of the room.
Okay, so Nyx is she's gonna get up, and she will also approach the center of the room.
I think Rinverhi is also, like, he's seeing, it looks like shit's about to go down, and it's like, what's he gonna do? But he's, like, standing up from his seat. Like, oh shit.
I've never seen a body quite mangled like that. Can you bring it closer? You know?
These hogmen are gonna beat up the pretty boy? The tall pretty boy? What's the fire chick gonna do? Oh man.
All right, Nick, so you start heading over to the middle of the group, and you're very unsure of, like, what this commotion is about. It's literally just, like, your Ifrit boyos, like, chest bumping the hog people, but now all of a sudden they look mad about it, you know? And they're just like, right. There's, oh, bro, you talking about bro? We talk about bro, you know? And they're going back and forth like this. You can tell, though, that you're like, this is going to pop off if someone doesn't do something.
So she's going to put her hands on her hips and she's going to shout, she's like, what the hell is your problem? To one of the hogmen.
All right. So the hogmen... I feel so bad. I'm sorry. He shouts, "You're my problem!" And he turns and stabs you in the stomach.
Oh,
Oh.
I feel like Bran would go for, like, the one that just stabbed her, like, yeah, dude, that's not Joe. Like, maybe with a fist.
Go ahead and roll a reflex check, Hal. Or Nyx, I'm sorry.
All right. Let me pull up. My reflex is okay. Hold on. That is a 37.
Oof. Okay. All right. So you're completely caught off guard by this attack, right? No can defend, surprise, right? Bam, you get hit, right? But you grab the hog person by the wrist, you grab them by the back of the elbow, and you're kind of holding them there, right? Afraid that if they try to slash at you or pull the blade out, it's going to kind of make it worse. So you've kind of got this blade like stuck in your gut right now, and you're just holding on to it. And you're like, shit, how bad is it? Like, is it like a stiletto blade? Can I just pull it out? Is it going to be a problem? And you kind of look down, and as you look down, you're like speechless. You're frozen. You're just absolutely beside yourself because he has stabbed you with your dagger.
What?
And you don't know how he got it, but it's that same exact type. It's that shard dagger. And it's stuck in you there, and you're just looking at it in this pure disbelief. And you can feel the warmth in your mouth as you're like, oh, I'm like coughing up blood here, you know? And you feel that warmth for a second, and you realize, like, this killed me once before. This is gonna kill me again. Like, that's your immediate and only thought. Like, half a second ago, you were like, not a big deal. And now you're just consumed and overwhelmed by that fear. Go ahead and roll a will save.
Uh, 29.
29. Okay. So you kind of keep your wits about you, but you're a little bit panicked, right? You're a little bit like, holy shit, this is bad, right? And as you kind of whip around, you're like, at least my guys are here with me. They're going to get me. They got me. And you look back and you realize the only people standing behind you are more pigmen. There are no other Ifrits here, right? You're the only one in the whole tavern. And you're just there and alone, and you're stabbed up, and they're kind of like seemingly getting larger and larger around you, you know, and you're getting smaller and smaller as you just feel isolated and alone and doomed. Roll another will save, this time with a -10.
Oh my god.
Oh,
My baby. My
I
baby
know.
girl.
I want to do something.
Okay.
Wow.
oh.
All right, that wasn't
my
great to
God.
begin with.
No.
All right, so with a 10, you're absolutely freaking out at this point. And you're kind of like, now you're gripping onto that hogman as though like, this is my last bastion of hope, is to not have this guy like slice me to pieces or pull this blade away and leave me with a giant gaping wound. So you're very desperate, and you try to like call out to anybody, somebody, but you can't even think of someone to call out to. So you just end up kind of gurgling, and you're starting to feel your knees get a little weak, and you're starting to sink down a bit. All right. Now I'm just going to go kind of in order of how you guys are listed there. Rinverhi, go ahead and roll a will save yourself, please.
That's a 37.
All right. So you kind of have stood up earlier, and you see what happened. Like, oh my God, like you're just like shocked that this person just got stabbed right in front of you. But you just have this instant like kicking in your brain where, rather than being afraid of the moment, you understand the moment and you know what you're supposed to be doing. So you literally just dash out into like the sea of hog people to try to help this woman, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And as you do, the hog people are like they don't even care. Like it's just one little girl, they stabbed her already. They don't care that you want to walk right by. But as you move past them and you see this person kind of like crumpling away, you instinctively pull out your holy symbol. And as you draw it, like in your brain, you're like, Kazio will help me heal this person. I'll call on their strength. And you pull it out and you're like, wait, why the fuck do I have a holy symbol? Like,
where did this come from?
You
and
like
his holy symbol is like a piece of obsidian that he wears as a necklace around his neck. So he just reaches in his shirt and pulls it out and is holding it and is like, has this been here the whole time?
Perfect. And it literally like it pops off your neck, like boom,
Mm-hmm.
like whether it's metal, whatever, for some way it came out off your neck and is in your hand with the cord, whatever, hanging off.
Mm-hmm.
And you're holding it there and you're holding it so tight because somehow this is incredibly familiar to you. And you're just like, no, and you are holding your holy symbol and you start to like feel this pain in your hand that you're like, oh, I'm like holding this way too tight. I'm going to cut myself. And you start to open your hand just slightly and you realize you've crushed and broken your holy symbol, right? Which is pretty hard to do, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And your hand is like pooled with a little bit of blood right there. Go ahead and roll another will save, this time with a -10.
Okay. That's a 20.
All right. So you kind of have a little bit of like a panic. Now you have no idea what to do. And your kind of thought was like, oh, I'll heal this person. But now your all-consuming thought is that I'm disgraced in the eyes of my God. And that's why my holy symbol broke. Right? Because I did it and I disgraced myself.
Mm-hmm. Horrifying. He's staring into his hands and the shards, like, what have I done?
All right, Bran, you see this go down. You see the miner just rush in to kind of help, pull out a holy symbol. It's crushed in their hand. They kind of look at it, all of the sort of luster for life, the enthusiasm of coming to help just drains from them, and they seem mortified and chilled to the core and are just frozen now, standing there staring at this broken holy symbol. This woman in front of you still just, grasping at kind of their last breath here. What do you do?
I feel like it's like a muscle memory of like going to go for his like great sword because like it been this time. We are fucking shit up.
All right. So you reach down and you draw your greatsword.
Yeah, rushing towards to like assist Nyx.
All right. Are you going to cut down this guy that stabbed her or somebody next to him?
Yeah.
Or okay. So this guy here, let's see. This guy here, he's the stabber, right? The one that's closest to you. So you're going to flank this guy. So you've got a +2 for flanking. Oh, you guys have +2 for flanking, right? No. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
For
All right.
Pathfinder, yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead and roll yourself in attack.
I just saw like the +20 to hit and got really excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, 22.
Celebrated too early. Okay. So you strike down with the greatsword, rah, and you're just giving this dude the business, and you feel inside you that kind of amp energy that you had earlier with the hog people, and there's this weird feeling inside you to just channel it to decimate the hog people with their own pumped upness. And you feel that kind of animal lust inside you to fell this creature. And as your blade kind of slams down across its back, it just, limps over it like it was made out of a gummy worm and just drags across the back of the creature, who kind of shivers for a second and is like... And it appears your weapon is not effective on these creatures at all, and has turned into some sort of gummy noodle. Go ahead and roll a will save with a -10.
Oh. I'm no cleric, so if it's -10, I just get a 7. Oh, another 2. Hello, good friend.
Nice 9. Nice 9.
Nice 9.
All right, 9. No, 9.
9.
No, 9.
So you kind of take a step back, like in shock of what just happened with your weapon, and you realize that your weapon is useless. And there's this feeling inside of you that you're like, it's because I'm like them, that I gave in to that animal instinct. I tried to be like them, and I am my own worst enemy, and you're like, I'm a pig man like them, and you start looking down and you realize, no, you're not, right? But you're something altogether different. There's no one here like you, even though there's 2 people that are the same race as you. You're like, they're not my friends. I don't know these people. And you can't help but kind of like sink back in this despair of like, I'm powerless. I'm a useless, dumb animal, and I'm alone.
Haunting!
Okay, it's on you, buddy. Let's do it.
Cool.
Save the day.
Cool. I think Kay has just been watching this entire scene unfold, and it's all just been happening in like a matter of seconds. Like Kay blinks, looks over, there's suddenly a woman being stabbed. There is this miner who had their drink spilled on them. They're going in to help, and then they suddenly look very dejected. The ranger over there just tried to hit something with a sword, and it looked like a gummy worm. Kay's feeling a lot right now. And I think he like starts to like, step towards like this scene that's unfolding, and it's just like, oh shit, what the fuck do I do? And right. I think, go ahead.
Roll an athletics check for me.
I can roll 9 athletics checks for you if you like. Okay, 1 second.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Athletics. Okay. All right. Roll. That's a fucking 35.
Yo.
Nice.
I'm getting
All
in
right.
there.
So you start moving, and you're like, I got to do something. I got to do something. And as you're
Gotta
walking,
get in there.
each foot that you put down just suddenly starts feeling heavier and heavier. And as you're walking along, you're like, what's going on? You know? And you start having this fear that you're like, wait, am I like turning to stone again? You know?
Yeah.
And you're like terrified by that notion. And you look down and go ahead and roll a will save with the -10.
Why do you
Why are you so mean to us? No,
Why are you
I
so
like it.
mean? I don't like it. Okay, so the good thing about this is that I still get a +10.
Good.
I have a 20 in will saves.
Nice.
So, all right, let's. Okay. Twyla, guide this roll. Twyla, guide this roll. That's a 20.
Hey, okay. 20 not natural. We'll take it. So you're moving along, and you have this thing where you're like, I am not going to be petrified. And you look down.
No.
And you see your feet are not petrified. And you're like, oh thank God. And as you set your next foot down, you're like, but what's holding me back? And you realize that your foot is just sinking into the ground.
Oh,
and
no.
the ground itself is trying to swallow you up.
No!
And your next step doesn't come out of the ground. It's inside of it. And it's almost like you're wading through like ankle deep earth trying to move. But you know you have to keep going. You have to keep getting to this person.
I have to help them.
Roll another athletics check for me.
Whatever you... Hey, man! Whatever you want. All right. Twyla, guide this roll. Twyla, guide me. Please. Twyla.
Please.
That's a 23.
23. Okay. So you're still moving. You're moving along and you're getting going. And you've got a table kind of right in front of you. So you move 5 feet forward and you get to that table and you got a hand on the table and you're kind of balancing yourself on the table. You're using your arm to keep you out of the dirt. And you're moving along and you realize there's still time. There's still we still have time to save this person. But you don't think you'll make it over there in time.
Right.
But you can see Rinverhi here next to you. You can see them with the holy symbol. And you realize that they're paralyzed in their own fear. Like you see that. You see that they are distraught. And that they don't know how to heal this person now. But you're like, dude, you just need to give them some water.
Yeah.
And you feel compelled to say that to Rinverhi.
Yes.
But as soon as you think it in your head, you hear the clock on the wall start ringing out. And you take a look over at the wall and you can see the hands on it are just zipping around in circles. And you realize there's not enough time. You can't get there. You can't give her that water. It has to be Rinverhi. What do you do?
I'm holding on to this table. It's like I can't make it in this time span. And I look over and I see Rinverhi, who is like cradling their holy symbol in their hands, looking absolutely distraught. And I'm just, hey, you, look, give her water. Water! It's what she needs! Please!
Let's Crave!
It's got electrolytes.
That's what it's Crave! It's got electrolytes! Please!
Is there like a glass of water on the table near me, or?
Roll a percent. Let's see how we do.
Okay. A percent? A percentage?
Yeah.
Or perception?
Percentage.
Okay. I think 76.
All right, that sounds good. Yes, you're able to find a glass of water that someone has left there.
He just grabs it, and is he able to like push through these pig people directly?
Yes, yeah. They're kind of like meandering off. Like they don't care what's going on anymore. So,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
They're just kind of walking this way. Only the one guy that stabbed Nyx is really standing with her.
Okay. And yeah, so Rinverhi he grabs the water and just kind of like stumbles to his knees, like beside Nyx, who's crumpled over, and he puts an arm around her and holds the glass to her. And he's just like, "It's water, please. Drink it. It will help."
Drinks
Alright.
the water?
So, Nyx, Rinverhi kind of runs over, puts like an arm around like your neck there to tilt your head back just a little bit, and just starts like fucking pouring what seems like an endless glass of water down your throat. And your mouth is so filled with blood that like you can't get any liquid in there. It's just falling all over your face and going up your nose because of the way your head's tilted. And you won't let go of this pig arm, but you've lost all capacity to breathe, and you're absolutely panicking now as you're basically being water poured in.
I promise I'm helping.
You're owning.
So Nyx is gonna start she's gonna close her eyes really tight, and she's just gonna try to cough. Just cough it up, baby. Cough it up.
Okay.
Cough it up, baby.
All right. Let's have you roll a fortitude save. That seems like the most fitting roll for this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I'm just thinking of cat energy where it's coughing.
35.
Whoa.
Nice. All right. So you managed to just be like, "Purr," and just purge what you've got in your face and mouth. And this rosy water just comes blasting out from your face and just showers the pigman. The pigman lets go of the blade now. He's like, "Oh, gross." And he starts backing away, and you fall into Rinverhi's arms. And the pigman is just like he's just looking like a jerk, just kind of waddling back to what he's doing. Doesn't even know that Bran tried to strike him down. Doesn't even care. Rinverhi, you've got Hal sinking to the ground. Hal instinctively Nyx instinctively reaches over and grabs the dagger or the blade to kind of keep it in place, keep it from moving around too much. But it's kind of can't hold themselves up. They're falling to the ground, and you're kind of cradling them back down. And roll a will save, just a regular will save, Rinverhi.
Okay.
Will it
No,
up, boy.
Hold on, I
Well, yeah.
accidentally... No, ignore this one. I accidentally clicked a whole bunch of percentile.
Whoa, one of these
My
is the
will
right
is
one, right?
not that strong. It's pretty good, but...
You're like, I got
Not that
417.
Oh, man. I
Yeah.
did not comment. 25, which is really low for me.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So, for whatever reason, you are 100% committed to this girl just needs water.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, no.
she coughs up, you got her laid down, you're like, okay, boop, boop, boop. You just
More. Okay.
keep-
Good. You've gotten it out. More water.
yeah.
More.
This is a really tall glass.
Nyx, you're just like it's you're freaking out.
Shh, I'm helping.
all of the sudden, Rinverhi, you're kind of pouring the water into Nyx's face. She starts to reach up to try to stop you for a second, And as she does, someone takes her hand and kind of puts it down by her side. And still pouring water, you kind of look up, and kneeling across from you is this
It's
dude.
Hot Sean Connery! Oh my god!
Sorry.
The man! The blue man, who's not blue in his picture, but he's blue.
Blue man group.
The blue man, he left his group.
And this guy kind of looks over at you, right? And he sets Nyx's arm down, and he reaches out very slowly, and he like kind of puts his hand over your knuckles, you know, where you're holding the glass, and he kind of like tips it up a little bit to make you stop pouring, you know? And he says to you in this very sad and somber way, "That's enough, dear. She's gone. You don't need to keep trying anymore. You have to just let her go.
Keep trying. No.
She's gone.
I won't let anyone go.
There's only one way you can help her now.
What is it?
You have to wake up."
Wake up.
All right. And in that moment, you realize that you are no longer in that bar. You instead kind of are looking down at Nyx, and you're looking at her basically lifeless face, just drenched in water, that bright fire gone from her eyes now. And there's this sense of like, I just doused that fire, you know, like I did that, you know? And there's this disbelief where you're like, no, that's not right. That can't be right, you know? And you kind of pull the glass away for a second, and you're like, why would I be pouring water on her face? That doesn't make any sense. I should be giving her like medicine or something, you know? And you're looking at Nyx's face, and you look back at your hand, and you have like a healing stone, you know, an ion stone. And you're like, yeah, this is what I should be doing. And you kind of reach back over and you start to put it over her face. And a hand reaches out and touches you over the top of your knuckles, right? And just slowly kind of turns your hand up so that the ion stone is no longer facing down on Nyx. And you hear a voice say to you, "There's nothing more you can do for her. She's gone. You have to just let her go. There are plenty more on the battlefield that you need to help." And you realize that you're sitting with this man. And he's pictured here with someone else, but he's essentially doing the same thing. And you are inside of a mangled, destroyed up looking chapel. And this chapel looks absolutely like war torn. And go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Uh, 36.
All right, nice. So you look around and you realize this is a completely like bombed out chapel, right? Like you were in the middle of that war that the Hogmen and the Ifrits are fighting. You don't know what it's for. You don't know what they're fighting over, but you do know that it's your job to save people. And you're looking at this guy and his kind of little red, like fleur-de-lis looking things. And you realize, yeah, you work with these medics. You know, you work with this team of doctors who go through the battlefield and just try to triage soldiers. And you see all this horrific stuff from these like magic weapons and magic spells that just absolutely decimate mortal beings, you know? And it's horrifying and crazy and weird. And you're looking around the room there and you're like, okay, so there's like this chapel was already destroyed, and it looks like they just threw all the chairs up against the wall, the pews and everything, cleared out a small section for some cots, and you guys are just here trying to have a little makeshift triage center. And as you're kind of like coming to grips with the fact that you're like, wait, I'm not a miner, like I'm a doctor, you know? You start to think like, wait, am I a cleric? And you reach down and you look for your holy symbol, and it's not there. You don't have a holy symbol, you know? But as you kind of look down, you realize, oh, I'm wearing like a doctor's tunic, like a medic's tunic, where this guy is wearing like cleric's robes. So
Right.
you're not a magical healer. You're like a normal healer. And you're like, well, wait, what about Nyx? And you look down and this isn't Nyx. You're not treating Nyx. You realize this is a dead soldier.
Rinverhi, he thinks to mutter a soft prayer, but it feels strange too, but he just says softly to the dead soldier, "May the light guide you." And he like straightens his posture to, let him go. This person's right. There are more people to save. And he looks up to the cleric, and does he recognize this man at all, or is just
Roll a perception check.
sweet? Nope. That's plus 19, so
Okay.
I think 37 again.
Yeah. So you look up, and this time when you look at him, you recognize the face. Like the first time you were still so fixated on that other stranger from the tavern that you didn't quite notice this person. And it occurs to you that you're like, oh, it's my uncle. But that's okay because he's a cleric of Kasia and he runs this thing of doctors and he's very good at it. And I'm very fortunate that like I am not blessed by Kasia, but he still lets me treat people and help out how I can.
Okay. Yeah, so in that moment he sees his uncle, the actual cleric of Kasia, and just feels like, oh, that's why I want to say the prayer. I want to be like him. And he nods to his uncle and begins to rise to his feet and look to the others who are injured to see who needs his help the most.
So you take a peek around the room and you notice that there are soldiers in there that are still well, and they kind of look like they're keeping this area safe. But they look very like they are completely clad in armor. Like you can't see their faces, nothing. So they're like kind of creepy looking. But they are kind of watching over, almost Terminator-like in the room, while the beds are made up of basically like very young, 16 to 25-year-old soldiers. And
sorry, I have to step away really quick. I'm listening.
No problem.
Really quick.
So they're a little banged up and they're a little tore up. I'll take this moment to change our scene in Owlbear there. So I've never done this on the fly before. We'll see how it goes. But I'm
so
pretty
excited.
Sure we can change.
Oh my god, it's changing. It's changing. It's changing.
reload the
It's
scene?
changing. It's changing. It's changing. Oh
Sorry,
my god! Sorry. Okay.
Change.
I'm back. Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
I love change.
Oh my god.
Oh, tasty armor.
All
Hold
right.
on, let me drag Kay to the outskirts. He's
Oh
not
no,
here.
you stay
not
where you're
here.
at. You stay where you're at.
Oh
You're
yay!
Yeah.
Yay! Get to put it right back! Yay!
So-
Yay!
You,
Yay!
you look around and you realize that the I'm going to change a couple things on there because they already happened. So here is your uncle there who's standing with you, and Nyx and Bran and Kay are all kind of just standing nearby here, and they are all dressed like fresh, brand new recruits for the cause, and they have really garbage, like leathery kind of studded armor that looks like mostly cloth. They have kind of helmets that don't really fit, swords that are all chipped and busted. And you're kind of looking around and you see like those knights and things that look like super badass. And they're going to send these 3 like people who look absolutely ill prepared out to battle. And you're kind of like, well, geez, it's no wonder people keep dying, because like they're sending people out here who aren't really prepared. And it's like, you think to yourself, who would let someone that they care about just go out and fight for this cause and not keep them safe. And you kind of look down as like another nurse practitioner person there comes by, and they're like pulling a cloth over the body that you were just saying a prayer for. And as you kind of slide you help them slide it up on top, right before it like goes over their face, it just looks like Hal, And in that 1 second, you're like, I don't know who that is. But you had this overwhelming sense of loss connected to this entire situation.
Yeah. Rinverhi doesn't know, but Endo's gonna cry.
You see the 3 recruits next to you, and they're kind of looking like just in shock and awe, they're like, oh my God. And your uncle turns to them and he's like, this is what happens on the front lines. You will see lots more of this, so steel yourself now.
Does it have to be them? And Rinverhi suddenly pipes up. Like he looks to his uncle and looks to the recruits again, and like there's this sadness, and he looks back to his uncle like, must it be these new recruits? They're people with armor right here.
I'm not gonna lie, I never played a game like this, and I feel like I'm just being a super asshole to you guys. I feel so bad.
You're no, great.
It's so funny, but so
This is awesome.
Your uncle looks at you, and he does like this kind of number where he's like, he turns his head, but he doesn't really look at you,
Yeah.
And he says, he's like, I'd rather it have been you, but you weren't good enough, were you? And he just starts like walking away.
Oh shit!
Okay,
Rinverhi is stunned.
This fucking guy walk away, and just kind of grits his teeth.
My 3 new recruits there. You guys are like saucer cups. You have no idea where the hell you are. All you know is that you have been conscripted, and that you have left your families back home, and you have no idea what to do. Your knees are knocking, and you just saw someone literally pass away right in front of you. Like, this is not a good time so far. Day 1 of army sucks.
Yeah, day 1 of army.
War never changes.
War never changes. Yeah,
right.
War never changes.
So, Nyx, you have this like sick feeling in your gut, and you kind of reach down and you kind of rub your stomach, and you're like, oh, that's a weird pain that I have right there. And you're like, but I guess that goes away when you actually get in the thick of battle. And the knight behind you is like, you, and he points to you. And he's kind of like he sounds like he's inside his helmet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he says to you, they're digging holes outside. Put some meat on your bones and help dig holes.
She would what? That's what she's thinking. She's kind of like, I want to do what I'm told, but are you telling me to eat? You want me to eat?
He kind of points to the western door that's behind that broken statue, and he says, go out that door and head north. You'll find the men digging holes. We need a new one now, so go and give them a hand.
All right, she's gonna.
Just so you see, there's a little doorway right here. Okay.
Yeah, I see that. I don't know. Is she gonna? What about Kay? What about Bran?
You don't know those people.
That's weird.
You literally just met them 2 seconds ago when you joined army.
Kay just kind of glances at Nyx, who is being given orders, and it's like, presumably this order is directed only to her.
Yes.
If this fucking Terminator is looking down at her, so he will remain rooted in place, but kind of just watch her as she starts to go.
So she'll do as she's told. Not because she's being told to do it, but because it's the right thing to do. And also,
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, she feels really sorry for that girl on the bed. Okay.
Who was
Yeah,
hot?
She was. She was so hot.
She was.
She
was
baby
so
girl.
hot. She's so
She's everything.
All right, so
All right.
Nyx, right as you start walking out that door, roll me a reflex check.
Okay.
so you don't fall into a fucking hole.
Right.
Charles, I don't like what you just did there.
Is it too mean? I'm sorry, guys.
No, I love it. I love it so much.
This. I love this.
Same.
It's great.
I got a 33.
Nice.
Nice.
All right. So as you walk out the door, there's someone who's walking in. And as they're walking in, like you guys almost like ram into each other like super hard because there was no way to see that you were both walking in like hard charging. But you just barely kind of brush each other for a second. And the guy reaches out and kind of like takes you by the shoulder and the hand, like to steady you to be like, oh shit, I'm sorry, you know, because he just trucked you. And you look up and you see this dude.
Hot fantasy Sean Connery.
Sean Connery.
And he's like, oh, excuse me, my dear, I'm sorry. And he holds you by the shoulder for a second, and you kind of look up at him with the fiery little eyes, and he's like, has this quizzical look. And he kind of tilts his little head like a puppy. And he's like, have we met before?
No. I mean, yeah, sorry, I'm not here. I'm not here.
Nyx is caught off guard, but she keeps herself upright, and when she's asked, have they met before, she will quickly say, no, sir, and leave.
Well, he doesn't let you go quite right away, you know. He's because, like I said, he's still kind of holding your arm for a second. So you kind of start to move away, and he says one last thing to you if you're gonna insist on walking away. But he's like, "Did you serve in the campaigns in the desert, perhaps?" And you just kind of walk away, and he's like, and then just goes about his business. So yeah, so this guy comes walking in there after Nyx walks out, and he comes up and he walks right up to UK, and he kind of standing right, you know, like at attention, kind of looking down at you for a second, and
yeah,
he's kind of like, you know, does a quick like judge, and it's like not bad, you know, and then takes a step over to like look at Bran, you know. And he kind of looks Bran up and down for a second, and he's like, okay, yeah, all right.
Oh,
And let's have both you guys roll percent, and whoever's higher gets to go with our boyo here.
So it's
Dusk,
both like
I'm excited about
Hey-
using percent.
hey, so
by the
Dusk.
way.
Just so you know, whatever happens, I still love you. just 1%, or yeah, whatever it's given me. It's given me 2, so I think I'm just going to spell the 2 that it's given me.
I was waiting for you to be like,
I just rolled 1.
whatever happens, I called it first. So,
all right.
Maybe it
Anyone
is.
do an account?
Sure. We'll on I don't know. What do you want to? I don't fucking know. I don't know anything.
One, I guess, starting from 3.
Okay. Okay.
oh, 3, 2, 1, go.
I did.
15. Wow.
Congratulations.
Yeah, well, anything's gonna beat that.
Hot fantasy Sean
What did
Connery. I'm
you-
coming for you.
Oh, yeah, you got higher than 50. Okay, yeah.
28
Okay.
versus 15.
So he takes a step back over in front of Kay there, and looks you up and down again, and is like,
Hi.
well, you'll have to do then. Come with me outside.
Mm.
We're going to do some special training.
Oh.
And we'll we'll follow right on his heels.
All right. So he's heading back out that same door.
Yay!
That Nyx was
Fancy Sean Connery.
Rinverhi's just watching this, like, just very worriedly.
Just concern. From Bran as well.
Yeah. And then the worried look shifts over to Bran, who's still here.
Yeah. Still right there. Are we gonna go hold hands in a bush? Hot fantasy Sean Connery?
Yes, that's a special training. Hand holding.
Yay!
You're in transit. We're gonna keep you there for a minute. Don't get too excited.
I've been stepped up to and I'm scared.
Yeah. So, Rafni, is that how we pronounce that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Rafni, whatever.
All right. He steps up to Bran and he's like, "Come with us outside. We'll get you a proper position in the assault in the morning." And he looks back at you, Rinverhi, and he's like, "Come. The least you can do is listen to how your cousin plans."
And Rinverhi will nod, and he goes over to follow. He gives, like, Bran another, like, sort of anxious look.
I feel like Bran would like stop Rinverhi for a moment for like are you okay? He seems a lot.
It's all been a lot.
I'm sorry to hear that. Right,
It's
we
war.
should get going.
So,
War never changes.
Yeah. Sorry, I lost my accent there. It's all been a lot.
Rafni turns around here and he like heard what you said, right? So he turns around and he grabs you by the lapels, Bran,
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
and he says to you,